Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about what you're doing here. You just finished your keynote.
I did. I spoke to all these folks over here, who you can't see, and it was a real honor.
So Ben, you are the founder of Good Magazine. Tell us about Good Magazine and what you guys are doing.
Sure. It's a platform to celebrate the ideas, businesses, individuals who are pushing the world forward. And we do it online, we do it in video, we do it in print, and we do it in feature film.
And I know I've read a lot about you, and you get a lot of questions about your father's influence. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. He was an entrepreneur and raised myself and my sister in a way to really respect kind of people going out and doing things. So after he passed, there wasn't much of a question that was something I was going to try to do.
And tell us about how you've innovated the process of magazines, compared to when your father did things.
I think the magazine is a very small part of what we do right now. So I think the innovation is looking at it less as one platform and looking at more as just a media environment and being platform agnostic and saying if content's best suited for a magazine, that's where we'll place it. If it's best suited as a video, that's where we'll place it. But online is really the key driver of the business.
And talk about your message through this magazine.
The message is celebrating cool people doing cool things and the overall movement to kind of drive the world forward.
And you're here obviously with a lot of young kids. Tell us about your experience growing up and why are you here supporting kids?
I'm here just because I think we're all in the same hustle. I think we're all doing cool things. I read a lot of bios. There's some really interesting stuff going on. I think what I'm doing is interesting. I think what everyone at Good is doing is cool. I think what you're doing is interesting. So Nancy's a friend of mine and invited me to come and participate, so it was a pleasure.
And you went to Brown University, and now you're in Los Angeles. Can you tell us about this switch in location?
Yeah, LA's a sweet city, and I think it gets a bad rap because people think of it as a Hollywood kind of centered city. And when you spend time here, you find that it's a city with a lot of different people from a lot of different places, doing a lot of different things. And I think in that sense it has the most energy of any city in the country. And I think my plug for Los Angeles is that, while I guess London was the city of the 19th century and New York was the city of the 20th century, I think Los Angeles is one of, at least for America, will be the city of the 21st century, along with a lot of other international cities.
And what can we look forward to with Good Magazine and all of your other endeavors?
We have a film coming out in November called By the People, which is the official documentary of Barack Obama, the election of him and the campaign. And that's something that I'm excited about, and that'll be on November 4th, and the anniversary. And then you can expect us to just be trying to make cool stuff happen as much as possible, every day of the week.
Great. Do you guys have any questions for Ben? We have a room full of lovely young people here. There's a question right here. Sure, you get this a lot. What do you see for the future of publications?
I think the print business is severely challenged. I don't think people will pay for content anymore. I think the only way you're going to get people to pay for content is to have them paying for membership and have content be one benefit of membership. I think the analog there is the AARP, which hopefully a lot of people know. They're the kind of American Association of Retired People, one of the largest lobbying groups, one of the largest organizations in the country. In turn, they're the largest magazine in the country, which most people don't know about. Their business model is, and they're a nonprofit, so you guys should take note of this, their business model is 1/3 membership fees, 1/3 advertising on their media properties like the magazine and like their website, and then 1/3 in royalties through corporate partnerships where they kind of co-create products for their community. So I think that's the future of publications, is kind of integrating content and publications into a broader membership.
But how do you do that with publications that are already in their path-dependent state?
I think if you're locked into a path-dependent state, then you're going out of business.
There's just no way out of that.
Yeah, I don't think the market will support. Here's the challenge: the advertisers aren't into ad pages because the accountability isn't there in the way it is in impressions online. You know what I mean? Like that, you just can't tell how active people are. Printing costs, shipping costs continue to go up, and at the same time, consumer demand for the product is static, if not decreasing, because people are getting their content through other means. So that equation leaves kind of print publications in a challenging spot.
And how did you find an opportunity out of what's going on right now with print publications?
I think the nice thing about print publications is, as opposed to online, there's not a lot of them. So it's a great way to build a brand because you're not competing with that many other brands. But if it's thought of as a marketing tool, then I think it's a value. But if it's the core driver of the business, then I think it's a challenge.
So you really have to come at them at 360 degrees, multiple ways. And any other questions, guys? Go ahead.
I have a question. As a publicist for a not-for-profit, what's the best way to pitch Good Magazine?
The best way to pitch us is to understand, what's good about, and good's about kind of where does creativity and impact meet. And so understanding kind of what our values are and what our editors are looking for, and then getting in there and just being persistent, and being persistent not just to the editors but everyone at the company, because these companies are small companies. We've got 30 people, so it's not like everyone knows everyone's name, and if you can get anyone passionate about what you're doing, that'll travel somehow to someone who's actually deciding what's making it on the site or on the magazine.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
So I have a question about just the future of, going on a different route about the future of publication. Do you think that there needs to be a better quality of writers, or that there needs to be more people? So it's the death of the newspaper. Does that mean that there needs to be better writers, better tools in getting people engaged, or that there just needs to be more in the avenue of blogging and tweeting and etc.?
My fiance is a journalist, and she used to work for the LA Times, and they were talking about kind of what's happening to that paper. And the challenge is that it used to work where a significant amount of the LA Times was supported through, someone would buy the paper to read the sports section, but that would pay for the journalist who was covering the school board. Now when you have kind of like this broken up media environment where someone can just get sports, who's going to support a journalist working full time to cover the school board? Because most of the time that's not a story that's going to be that interesting or get that many people. And a lot of papers and a lot of media companies are switching to paying writers based on impressions. So how many people are you driving to the site? So if you're doing that, it's far better to cover Lindsay Lohan than cover, a committee meeting on, road investment. But what happens is, does that lack of accountability lead to, or now people are going to start screwing around and doing stupid stuff because there's no one covering it? I think quality writing will always be a value in whatever medium. And I think you look at sites like Politico, which basically said, we believe in quality writing. And so we're going to hire the best writers who are getting fired from the New York Times and getting fired from the LA Times. And now we're going to have the largest bureau in Washington. And now Politico's launched a print title, because a lot of advertisers trying to reach kind of regulators in Washington care about the print medium. So that they've built an equation which is different than the one that we've experienced. So I think the long tail of content that's being created is awesome because more people are covering more stuff. But I think there's always going to be a premium of people who are focused on it and want to be great at it and want to invest the time to really do reporting, because that is valuable. Like reporting is valuable, and I'm positive journalism is not going to die in that regard. It's too valuable.
And on your website, it's not just journalists writing; it's also the community talking back. Yeah. Talk about the importance of community with your magazine and your other entities.
I think we're trying. We made a transition from a magazine company to a media company, and now the next transition is how do we move from a media company to a true social fabric? More like the ARP. And the means of that is we're kind of releasing some technology in the new year which will allow for a more personalized opportunity, so people can really add and receive value. And I think that's critical because I don't think we have the answers. It's like I said in the beginning, we're doing cool stuff, you guys are doing cool stuff, I'm sure there's a lot of people outside are doing cool stuff. How do we create an environment where we all get to kind of promote what we're doing and support each other? I think that's needed right now.
And do you have any advice for the kids here who are starting an organization? You're coming from the medium, and then starting an organization and community from there, but they're starting an organization. Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, some of the stuff I said when we were in there, I think just pushing it. Just there's a, Wieden & Kennedy, it's the agency that runs Nike's stuff. I've never been there, but my friend went there, and he told me right when you walk in, they've got a big statue, and on it says, fail hard. And I think that's a beautiful thing to say, just fail hard. Come